Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Christopher Ridenhour as he lights us up and watches us go.
You're a beast. Good job. Thank you to those of you that applauded. How many of you by show of hands like to feel valued and appreciated? All right, keep your hands up. Keep your hands up, look around the room. Check to see who's part of that club. Because there are a lot of different, there are a lot of different clubs in this room, correct? There are a lot of different clubs. How many of you are dog people? By show of hands. Okay, look around. Look around. How many of you are cat people? Yeah, I knew it. How many of you have ever had liquid come out of your nose that initially went into your mouth? Now, look around. Look around. Check it out.
Yeah.
Okay, we good? How many of you have ever dipped a French fry in a milkshake? Now look around. Now, I'm asking you these questions for a couple of different reasons. First of all I've never met you before, and you've never seen me before. Because I haven't written a book, and I'm not on Oprah, right? I haven't done any of that kind of stuff. But you know what? One thing about me, though, I recognize this. You do know that everybody has powers, right? Everybody has powers. And there's one thing to be modest and all shucksy, right? There's one thing. But I'll tell you what, how many of you by show of hands are gifted? Gifted. Gifted. That's all you get. That's all you get. Now do me a favor, look around. Look around. All right, now here's the next question. Watch this. How many of you recognize that the elders and their family members that they're attached to are desperately hoping that when they get to these communities with all the beautiful websites, that they're going to find gifted people to serve them by show of hands? Right, now look around the room. Right? So what are we going to do about it since only half of the people are gifted here? How does that work? All right, friends, I'll tell you what. Are you ready?
Yeah.
10 of you are ready. You know how I know? None of you said, yeah. One of you did this. By show of hands, how many of you like to work with people who at least look like they're ready? Just look like they're ready. So I'll tell you what. My schedule is a little bit nuts, but I'm here in Philly. I'm a Philly guy. And when I heard that the conference was here and I was blessed enough to spend the time, I was really excited. And I go all over the place. I travel the country, and I maintain a full-time job. I'm a staff developer at an organization that manages 5 communities as well as a social service agency. So on a regular day, I'll see my charge nurses, and I'll see my DONs, and I'll see my unit clerks, and I'll see my med techs, and I'll see my CNAs, and I see everybody because I'm a staff developer. And one of the things that I recognize is how important ready is. How important ready is. So I'm going to bring you a Philly welcome, all right? I'm going to start at 3. When I get to 1, I want you to look at 5 other people and give them your best ready face. How many of you recognize that ready never looks like this, though? So that was just a clue, all right? So when I get to 1, 5 other people, best ready face, because it's on. All right, we good? 3. Some of you are getting ready already. 2. Oh, you better stop looking at me right now. 1, give it to him. Ready looks like something, doesn't it? Tell me your name. Tell me your name. Kayla. Yeah. So Kayla. So even before I get to Kayla's ready, all right? Even before I do that, you do know that my eyes go this way, correct? My eyes go this way. I can't see me, but I can see you. How many of you recognize that whatever I see, all of the folks that we serve, they see exactly what I see? And all of the family members, they see what I see because their eyes go this way too. And you do know that your colleagues see exactly the same thing I do. Does that make sense? Because you know what I know about you, and I've never met you before? How many of you value an honest friend? And it's true, right? You don't even have to look around. Because if I do this, hey, Ken, you got a little spinach right there. Okay. Don't you appreciate that?
You bet.
Because I'm looking out for you. You got it? If I do this, you know what, Heather, you got a little bat in the cave. You appreciate that, don't you? Because I'm just an honest friend. And you do know that there's a difference between honesty and brutal honesty, correct? Because brutal honesty feels like it's more for the person that says it than it does you, right? So I love that top, but why that color? Hold out a hand, hold out a hand, hold out a hand, hold out a hand, okay? Now watch this, okay? If I were to, so what I just said, you tell me if it feels like this or if it feels like this. You got it? If it feels like this or if it feels like this. So I don't even know my colleague, and I just let her know something that I think is important for her, that top is just not hitting me the right way, right? So I say, love the top, why the color? Does it feel like this or does it feel like this? Now, whatever your decision is, it's your decision. There's not a right or wrong, okay? We good? So did it feel like this or did it feel like this? All right, now hold the hand up in the air. Do me a favor, look around, look around. Right, so what do you notice? That mostly it's this, yes? So if I do this, hold out a hand. If I do this, hey, Michelle, how long have you worked here? Come on, get a clue. Does it feel like this or does it feel like this? Yeah, now look around the room, look around the room. And I'm not saying good and I'm not saying bad. I just said, so when talking about the residue, are you kidding me? How many, okay, hold out a hand, hold out a hand. Okay, so let's just say we work together, all right? And how many of you recognize that there's a difference between someone who shows up to work and someone who shows up to work? Oh, yeah. Right? They're the same exact words, but you know it's a different thing, isn't it? And my guess is you like to work with people who show up to work, correct? Right? So let's just say, tell me your name. Martha. So Martha showed up to work, and she's ready to knock this thing out. Me, I showed up to work. All right? So I showed up and I do this. Keep your hand out, keep your hand out. And I do this. Does it feel like this or does it feel like this? We good? I'll give you example too. Keep your hands open. So Martha, when I get close enough, all I want you to do is say, hey, good afternoon, Christopher. I'm Christopher. All right? So when I get close enough, all right, we good? Okay, do you want to rehearse? We're good. Oh, got the right one. All right, now watch this, okay? Whenever you're ready. I'll tell you what, Neil, you just yell action, you'll get this thing started. All right, whenever you're ready.
And action.
Hey, good afternoon.
Hey, Martha, how you doing? Good to see you. Hold out a hand. Right? So did it feel like this or did it feel like this? Now hold up a hand, and just look around. Just look around. What is it that you notice? It was different because I didn't ignore her, because I've read some books. But I'll tell you what, you know what I see all over the country? I see both of those things. By show of hands, how many of you notice that in your building, in your community, in your organization, either one of those, or you commit either one of those by show of hands? Because we can have an honest conversation, can we not? We can have an honest conversation. So Martha, guess what I make sure that I never do to anybody that I associate with professionally? I never do the drive-by. And I'll be doggone if I ignore somebody in my building. If I don't take the moment to say, hey, I don't think we've met, I'm Christopher.
Mike.
It's a pleasure, Mike. Good to meet you. I've heard really great things. Keep it up. Oh my goodness gracious, you have the patience of Job. I don't even know how you manage that situation. What a role model you are. Have a great day. How long did that take? Like that. And I'll tell you what, as busy as we are, because we're busy, aren't we important, Neil? I mean, we're important. We're important people. But I'll tell you what, everybody in here, this is what I know about you, everybody in here likes to feel valued and appreciated. And I can guarantee you this, when I asked you if you were ready, right? and only 10 of you responded. And then I had to count it down, right? I counted it down, and when I got to 2, I saw Kayla. Oh, Kayla was getting excited, right? And then I got to 1, and she looked at her colleague, she did, And that looked like Friday, didn't it? So a lot of the times I recognize, like, the day of the week of the conference or when I'm invited, like, to speak at a building, right? You notice it too, all right? I'm asking you to notice it too, because I'm a staff developer in my community, and I see my people on a regular and daily basis, right? But everywhere else, I'm a stranger, and I don't know what's going on, so I come to this brand new. So I see things that sometimes you're used to. How many of you recognize that you have no idea how your house smells? Because you live in it, don't you? How many of you have ever been you went to somebody's house and you stepped through that door and you went on as if nothing was up, right? Because you know better, because it's not your house. So this is what I'm going to challenge you to do. I'm going to challenge you, when you go back to your community, you notice things with fresh eyes, because there's stuff going on like this. And I'll tell you what, it's hard to feel all bright and shiny when that's going on in the community. And how are we going to take care of anybody when we can't even take care of the person that we work with? That's what I recognize after 15 years. And I'll tell you what, so aging services is relatively new. I mean, I've been around for about 15 years, but it still feels like it's brand new, because I came from like other industries, right? And I was doing other things. And some of the things that go on with us are just flat out odd to me. But I'll tell you what does make sense. You do know that we're working in a pressure cooker, correct? Because it's highly regulated, high turnover, low retention, and all of these things are afflicting what it is that we do. And there's a reason for it. Because nobody understands just how hard a job this is. Because people give and they give and they give and say, what else do you need? And what I also know, because I know Myers-Briggs and I know Eagle, Owl, Dove, Peacock and Blue, Green, Orange, Gold and all these other personality temperaments, you do know that we have more huggy people in our business than any other. Do you not know that? So the great news is, thank goodness we care. The bad news is, crap, we care. Right? Because it's hard to turn off the spigot sometimes. And when we can't turn off the spigot, sometimes it just feels like a vice, and I struggle to treat my colleagues well if I'm not aware of what it is that I'm doing. So ready looks like something. Ready looks like something. And it never. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. So Wednesday, right? Wednesday. What's another word for Wednesday?
Hump day.
Yeah, you didn't know that when you were young. It's only now that you're a professional. Oh, you know what hump day really means, Michelle? 2 more days I won't have to see you. Right? I mean, that's what are you saying when you say hump day? Are you kidding me? Hump day, almost. Can I just hold on? Yeah, and I wonder about the residue of that. What? Are you kidding me? What's Thursday? Friday Eve, yup. Friday Junior. And then Friday, when I go into some communities, I know the day, because all I need to do is look around and people are just on Friday, and then Monday, and then the second Monday of the week, which is Tuesday. It seems to me that when we become more self-aware, the quality of care does not get better as the week progresses and I get ready to leave. Because there's an energy there. When you go back, you notice it like I notice it, all right? Because I can't change anybody, right? I'm a staff developer. I can't change anybody, but I'll be doggone, I know I influence people that I work with. Because I show up to work. And you know what my work is? My work is people. Because I know the secret. I know that everybody in here likes to feel valued and appreciated no matter who they are. Whether you dip your french fry in a milkshake, whether you're a dog person, a cat person, it has no consequence to me. My job is just to show up and value and appreciate you. And you know what I think about your job? I think it's the same thing. I honestly do. And I want you to focus on the people that you work with a little bit more, because I guarantee you work will be a lot easier. Because I don't even ask this question anymore. Usually I used to ask, how many of you want more cooperation and teamwork and more positive communication? And that's 150% right there. And yeah. And then I say, oh, well, you got to be nice to people. Oh, never mind. What? So this session is going to be about, whoa. So let's start there. Really quickly, what do you notice about this guy?
Ready.
Yeah. Well, ready. I don't know what you mean by ready, Michelle. How many of you, that S, you know that's not an ascot, right? I wasn't that cool when I was that young. That's not an ascot. That was a tie and something happened before the picture, right? And I don't remember because I was young, but it was cool. It was all right. And that is a jacket. And you see how it's kind of askew, right? You do know my mother hates this picture because she didn't dress me like this to start the day, right? Do you know that, I'll tell you what, modesty aside, I am aware of my powers. And I'm still this guy. This is still me. You do know that you're the same person that you have always been. Unless you've had therapy to help you unwind. But otherwise, you are you. You are you. That's why in my book, it doesn't matter what the personality is. Because you have the organized one, and you have the fun-loving one, and you have the huggy one, and you have the logical one. No matter what personality temperament you ascribe to, 4 different kinds based on 4s and all the rest, ESTJ, ISTP, right, blah, 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 ESPN, and all of this other kind of stuff. But everybody likes to feel valued and appreciated. Is that not true? And what I have come, 15 years of seeing hundreds of buildings and thousands of just conferences and stuff, is that if you and I choose not to value and appreciate the people that we work with, whether they're our favorites or not, you are going to get exactly what you're asking for, but then you're going to complain about it when it shows up. And work is going to get extra hard, and you will not have as much patience as you'd like, and you won't have an endless supply of empathy, because if you're being squeezed, it's really hard to be your best you. Does this make sense to you? Do this, because it makes sense, doesn't it? So I know what my powers are. I'm quite aware of my powers, and before the puberty fairy came and straightened me out, they used to call me husky in the neighborhood. And what's husky euphemism for? Yeah, fat. And I was always the last one picked, right? But thank goodness I had my imagination, Kayla, because how many of you have ever had an adult look at you and say, oh, just go out and use your imagination? Because that happened to me too. And I have a 22-year-old and 19-year-old, and I'm not saying better or worse the way that they grew up. It's just different, right? And I could just imagine telling Christian and Joshua as they were growing up, go out and use your imagination. They would have reported me to Child Protective Services. So when I went out and used my imagination, and it didn't matter husky or otherwise, you know what I called myself? I was Captain Amazing. I was Captain Amazing. And my mother, for a cape, it was like a dish towel. And I couldn't get the good one, right? Because honestly, the only superpower I really needed to have, I just needed to be faster than my mother, right? And I was Captain Amazing. And do you know that, first of all, repeat after me, nobody can offend me without my permission. Say that. Nobody can offend me without my permission. I want you to think about in our service to others, whether they're internal or external. Nobody can offend you without your permission, because that's a superpower. You do know that, correct? Because when we recognize that nobody can offend us without our permission, somebody's going to look at you wrong, Kayla, in a way that does not bring you value and appreciation, and guess what? You're going to small thing to a giant. And if you and I, if we start practicing that, you do know that our worlds could change like tomorrow. Because I guarantee you this, there's a difference. How many of you recognize that there's a difference between a supervisor and a role model? How many of you recognize that there's a difference between a boss and a partner? How many of you recognize that there's a difference between a director and a coach? They're different things, aren't they? And the response is different, because anybody can be a boss. And I'm not saying good, and I'm not saying bad. Anybody can be a boss. Have you not found that the case? Do this, because you have. You've been working long enough, correct? So my job, you know what my job is? My job is to make sure you understand that you are empowered as well. No matter how young, no matter how old, no, millennials, what part of the country, it has nothing whatsoever to do with anything. You and I, we just have to believe it. And I find that sometimes our profession makes it hard when on some days there's not as much value and appreciation as what we need as human beings. We good? Yeah. So do me a favor. I'm gonna give you your power right now. You're gonna be deputized. Stand up where you are, please. Stand up where you are. Did you ask about the dancing? Who was it? Tell me your name. Tracy. So, an honest friend, right, Tracy? So, I didn't know that Kay was up after the dancers, right? So I thought I was up, and I was like, holy crap. And my guess is you've been in the same position, because as a speaker, sometimes there's a switch, right? So you're chilling for a little bit, and then you know when it's time to go on, it's time to, right? It's time to go on, right? And do you know how often I have heard, like, after me, oh, crap. And I was like, wait, everyone's dancing and laughing. I've got no dancing. I've got no... So that's what that was about, Tracy, but I'm good. I'm good now. I'm good. So this is what I'd like you to do, all right? I'm going to give you your powers, correct? Okay. This is what... Face the person next to you. Just quickly pair up. Quickly pair up. Now, this is going to be a mass deputization, if that's a word, right? Right? Yeah, right? And this is how it's going to work. I'm going to start at 3, all right? I'm going to start at 3. When I get to 1, I want you to recognize that, Mike, oh my goodness gracious, you have not seen this man since kindergarten. And he was your bud. This was your bud. Oh my gosh. And you had adventures together. Right, so you ride or die, right? You through thick or thin, it's her, and you have not seen this woman for quite some. You heard she was on drugs, but she looks all right. She's come around. She's healthy and strong now. So I'm going to start at 3. When I get to 1, you're going to greet your partner as if this is the best reunion you have had in quite some time. Are you clear?
Hey, we got it.
Face your partner. Wait, Neil, don't. We good? Okay, all right. All right, 3, 2, 1. Greet your partner. Very nice, very nice. How many of you recognize, so you and I don't have to have like elevated superpowers. So we don't have to be, faster than a speeding bullet, right? Or impervious to pain and all blah, 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 and all the rest of those regular superhero kinds of things. Let me put out to you this, what I've noticed with just 15 years out in the field and places that I've never been and people that I've never met before, right? But just noticing stuff. Here's the power. How many of you recognize that when you see more about what's going on around you, when you see it, when you're a better listener, and you get really good at kind of sensing, feeling, and figuring it out? How many of you recognize that you become a better human being the more stuff you notice around you, correct? Because as busy as we're trying to take care of life and business and all the rest of it, and it feels like life is just speeding up. When you and I slow down and notice, it's a whole lot easier to say, and Carrie, I'm just making this up. It's a whole lot easier to say, hey, it looks like you're struggling. What can I do? But if I'm breezing by in the hallway, I will never know that I can be of use to the person that I'm working with. Does this not make sense to you? Do this. And this is what, 30 minutes? 30 minutes. It does not have to take a long time for things to be different immediately. Martha, I just need to be conscious of what's going on with me, the impact that you have on other people, and then making sure that you and I notice. So, with your partner, face your partner. I am going to start at 3. When I get to 1, the 2 of you are on an elevator. And you recognize that it's pretty weird that you're that close on an elevator, because that's usually not what happens in an elevator, and usually people don't face each other in an elevator. So let's just say the 2 of you are on an elevator. Face your partner, please. And one of you has farted. I want you to go ahead and, but it's not you though. I want you to go ahead and greet your partner, please. Greet your partner. I hope you're noticing something. Yeah. Okay, and I'll tell you what, I'll give you one last scenario. We good? One last scenario. And this time, really quickly, I want you to swap out partners. So if you go this way, or you turn, right, or the 2 of you switch, however you need to do it, quickly, just grab another partner. Quick. All right, friends, you're in Philadelphia. Give your colleague a pound. You know what a pound is? You're in Philly. No, that's a fist bump. Pound is this. Make the noise though too. Give your colleague a pound. Now, with your colleague, take your right hand, hold it up in front of your colleague. I'm going to start at 3. When I get to 1, you're going to go ahead and extend your hand to your partner. Everybody likes to feel valued and appreciated, correct? I'm going to start at 3. When I get to 1, you extend your hand to your partner. Face your partner. Quickly. 3, 2, 1. Friends, I did not say touch anyone. I just said extend your hand to your partner. Now wait. Now here's the question. Why do you think you went ahead and touched that stranger? Without Purell. You know why you did that? Because everybody in here, no matter what your personality is, no matter where you grew up, everybody has the need for connection. Deny connection, watch what happens. Make connections, favorites or otherwise, watch what happens. It's going to happen either way, your choice. I didn't say touch anybody, but guess what human beings do? Now this time, lastly, let's wrap this thing. This is what I need you to do. This time I'm going to start you at 3. When I get to 1, extending your hand looks like this with the person in front of you. You clear? All right? So hand up. All right, now face your partner, please. 3, 2, 1, extend your hand. Very nice. Now, Neil, this is what I want you to do, all right? And you play at home, okay? You play at home. So you have your hand extended to you, correct? Imagine that there is a gift sitting right there in your hand. All right, now listen carefully. Who do you think that gift is for? It's for the person or persons in front of you, correct? And you see how they have their hand extended? Guess what they have in their hand? It's a gift, and guess who it's for? So I'm going to start at 3 this time. When I get to 1, it's a gift exchange. You're going to greet that partner knowing that there's a gift to be given and a gift to receive. Are you clear? All right, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and greet your partner, please. All right, friends, here it is. By show of hands, how many of you are gifted? We're going to get there one way or the other. Here's the hard part. Here's the hard part. Because when you show up, sometimes the first question that people ask you, what kind of drug are you on? When that happens, but hey friends, I'll tell you what, this conference has been all about, it's the only thing that works. It's the only thing that works. It's the only thing that works. Good luck with whatever else there is. We good? So I'll tell you what, as we close the day, do me a favor, do this. Awesome. Michael Wider. Yes, that's exceptional. Now close your eyes, breathe in. Open your eyes, breathe out. Very nice. Did you know that today marked the 25th anniversary of the high five? It's kind of weird that like today. Isn't that? Mike, you know why that you didn't know that? Because it's not true, Mike. High five two people, then face me again quickly. High five two people. Awesome. You rock. Thank you, Amanda. Oh, long distance, long distance. Now take your right or left hand quickly. Take your right or left hand. Quick. All right? Some days, my coach always told me, he said, among the other corny coach things, but he said, some days you get the bear and some days the bear gets you, correct? And I'll tell you what, on those days when it feels like those people that thought you were like your favorite, they say, no, I found other favorites, right? And you need to self-medicate, right? Stay off the med cart. But I want you to go ahead and give yourself a hug, please. Make the noise, too. Make the noise. Yep. Get another one in. Get another one. Don't rub. It's not that kind of party, though, sir. Right? Get, And in order to make sure that you're influential in changing your culture, do me a favor. This last hug, lean over to make sure that your colleague is making the noise. You got it? Because that's called accountability, and we can't have any of this without accountability. Take it right. Take it again. One more. Now lean over. Make sure your colleague is making that. There's more to be said. There's more to be done. My email is, I think, on the handout. It's easy. It's christophermotivates@yahoo.com. That's the email. If you have, I'm a colleague. If there's a situation you're dealing with, let's talk about it, all right? I will listen, okay? Thank you so much for your time. I'd love to come to your building.
Christopher Ridenhour, everybody. Big round of applause.